How am I supposed to be a libertarian when I gotta buy all my stamps from the government?
Welcome to the Lions of Liberty podcast. Here is your host, your guide, your shining beacon of liberty, Marc Clair.
All right, folks, we are back here at the Lions of Liberty podcast, and you are listening to episode number 110. And if I sound like I'm in a good mood, it's because I am, because this is one of my favorite episodes to do. It's the return, my friends, of Libertarians in living rooms drinking liquor. Yay, applause, applause. Well, who's that? It's my first guest. It's a guy who's often sitting next to me when we do these things. He is live here in the Lions of Liberty studios here in sunny Los Angeles, California. He is Mr. Brian McWilliams.
Hey, Mark.
What's up?
Not much, just loving liberty, loving life, inhaling the sweet blue breezes that swing through California, blowing dust into my sweet lungs.
And we may as well reveal our drink together since we're cutely drinking the same drink.
Twinsies.
We are drinking we're drinking Dark and Stormies.
Yeah, Dark and Stormies.
Featuring
fine, 100% fine Jamaican rum.
Yeah, let's get some free plugs to some of these fine products.
Yeah, here you go.
We're
free
sipping
plug.
on here.
World famous Myers rum, original dark. Got to be dark for the dark part of the Dark and Stormy, otherwise it's just stormy. And, yeah, it's pretty damn delicious. And we're drinking it with what?
We're drinking it with your recommended ginger beer of choice, although it says ginger ale on the cover for some reason. No. Blenheim, hot.
Yeah, Blenheim. If you're going to be drinking Dark and Stormies, trust me, go get some Blenheim, singe the nose hairs out of your face, but you will enjoy the drink twice, maybe thrice as much as you
This
ever did
drink
before.
is so good that I recommend pausing this episode right now, wherever you are, going to the store, getting Myers rum and Blenheim ginger beer, or other ginger beer since it might be difficult to find, and making yourself a Dark and Stormy. It's delicious, and it's a good way to start off.
Fantastic. I also recommend Q's if you can't find Blenheim. Cock and Bull is a low-level substitute.
This is very obvious pining for sponsors. That's exactly what we're doing, and I'm not ashamed of it. So, hey, if you like these products, go out, tweet these guys, tell them you're drinking while you're listening to Libertarians in living rooms drinking some liquor. Liquor, indeed, we are drinking. But no one wants to hear us talk to each other for, however long this goes on. They already can do that once a month on Rand Pluses and Minuses. Plug. We are just plug in. We're getting sponsors laid out there. We're taking care of the business first, so then we can move on to the serious stuff or the not so serious stuff. But let's bring in a few other guests now. Should I spin that wheel that I have? Yeah, that wheel. Let's go to Philadelphia with my man, JB Lubin. Welcome back to the Lions of Liberty podcast.
How's it going, everyone? Hello, Mark.
It's going
Brian.
good.
It's going well. By the way, how's your personal podcast, The Lubins of Liberty, going?
Not so well. Not as many listeners as this one. I think I might have to call it quits on that one.
Hey, you know what? Never give up, because we'll cross-promote you. We'll give you where can people find the Lubins of Liberty podcast, by the way?
In my dreams, I guess.
In the dreams of
I figured it was
JB
just you
Lubin.
yelling out the window drunk at about 4 in the morning.
Well, that too,
All right. And what are you drinking over there, Mr. Lubin?
Keeping it pretty simple, unlike you two there. Just a little bit of Lefroy 10, a splash of water. That'll get me through the show, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you are correct. And now let's bring in our fourth and final guest. He hails from Clevesburg, Ohio. He is the Lions of Liberty's official/unofficial legal counsel. A man goes by simply Rico.
Yo, what's up?
He's a simple man. He has one first name, and he's...
Bailiff, please escort this gentleman from the courtroom.
Oh, we need a bailiff. That's
my opening statement in 95% of my cases.
Yo, what up? You're representing Vanilla Ice in 99% of them.
What's
The
happening?
way it works out. It's strange.
Good business.
Now, those of you who might be unfamiliar with this show, if there are any of you this is the first episode you're hearing of either Libertarians in Living Rooms Drinking Liquor or the Lions of Liberty podcast, Mothership, which would be shocking if there's anybody out there that hasn't heard us yet, first of all. But anyway, there's really no format to the show. There's no script. I have literally no idea what we're going to talk about. We just kind of drink and chat. So, if you like it, listen. If you don't, well, go drink some more Dark and Stormies and get back to us, because eventually it'll get fun. Eventually you'll get drunk enough to have a good time with us and be on the same wavelength. So what do you guys want to talk about? Anybody got anything? Brian's like itching over here. So
I do. Well, I do have something. I don't know if I want to get into this right off the bat, though, because it's going to take a little while. So I don't know if we want to, throw some other things out there first. Like,
for one thing, spit it out.
Okay, fine. I received in the mail today.
Ooh.
Yes.
What is it?
An actual documented letter. I got a letter in the mail, and it was, It was very important, and it was marked 2015 Congressional District Census, and I got all excited because I was chosen, my friends, of very few people to fill out the Republican Party's census, to let them know what I think, and by virtue of what I think, what we all think, because I'd like to go through it, and let's fill this puppy out in real time, let these people know just what's shaking.
All right, so we're gonna go. Is this like the?
That sounds like fun.
Is this the national, the National Republican Party, or the California?
This is the National Republican Party. Hold on, let me see what the front of the envelope says to make sure. Yep, this is the Republican National Committee, guys.
How did you get on this list?
The big time.
I don't know, to be honest.
Probably by registering Republican out here.
Maybe
to vote for Ron Paul.
That's true.
Or being on, Campaign for Liberty's mailing list or something.
They said it's because I'm so incredibly active
Jesse
in
Benton
the political
sold your
community.
email to the Republican Party. Do you know that?
That is most likely what happened.
Or your real mail. Or
either that or I call a call boy with some Republican senator and he passed along my info
or
that
they
way.
just look at the voter registration and send it to every Republican.
Look, don't demystify the process, Mark. I like to consider myself fairly important in this world.
All right, so let's check this thing out. How long is this thing?
Right, so
how much time are we going to spend on this?
Got an hour's worth of material.
At least an hour. We can do the whole damn thing. I mean,
no, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. We can buzz through because some of these questions we can kind of, futz over. What do I plan on voting? Yes, I do. Do I plan on voting for the Republican nominee or the Democrat? Republican. I know I'm trying to. It's hard to speak on the mic and read
What
this
was
thing.
that second question?
Will I vote for the Republican or the Democrat? Now, JB, you might have a different opinion.
I don't like that. Even I already don't like the options.
Well, the problem is that
you glossed over the first question, which has also been a source of
that's a gloss
discussion.
over. This guy's just glossy over here. Let's slow
all
things down.
I'll ease us into it. Let's
slow
okay,
down.
here we go, guys. Here we go. Let's get into this. Everybody take a nice big drink.
Deep
breath. And I'm going to get into it.
You don't want to rush through a Republican National Committee census. That's one thing I've learned in life.
No, you learn that lesson the hard way a few times. You get a lot of paper cuts.
That's how you end up with John McCain as your nominee. People just blaze into the survey, checking stuff off. They're like, well, this is what they want.
Checking off Lex Luthor.
All right. By the way, you still owe us a Photoshop.
I know, I do. I'm going to do it. Well, I'm hoping he's going to run for president again, so we can use that as his profile.
It'll be we have a Lions of Liberty Instagram, by the way. Did you guys even know that?
I think I follow.
Yeah, I doubt you do. Anybody else there? Someone's peeing.
Rico's legal upstarts Tumblr blog.
Instagram.
What's Instagram? Never heard of it.
Cool. We're off to a great start.
Don't worry.
None of my guests follow us. We just started like 3 days ago. There's literally nothing. There's no reason to follow us right now.
If I use Instagram, I would, but I have Instagram, but I never go on there. So it's kind of
now you got a reason to
take
go
some space
on
on my phone.
Now you have a driving reason. All right, I'm going to get into this. Ready? Question 1. Do you generally identify yourself as a conservative Republican, independent voter who leans Republican, libertarian, moderate Republican, liberal Republican, Tea Party member, or other?
Other.
Mark says other. Anybody else?
I think we should all give our answers in rapid motion, then discuss.
I would say I am. I will identify as libertarian.
The only reason I didn't say libertarian is because it's capital L and they're saying the party. So I'm not going to quite.
That's true. I'm not a libertarian.
I mean, maybe philosophically I would still.
But
say that.
This is saying generally identify yourself. I think there's capitalizing.
I mean, we are libertarians in living rooms drinking liquor.
Let's not beat around the bush.
So we're total frauds if we don't all check off.
All right.
All right. He's filling it.
I blocked it
in.
Is
JB a libertarian? Has that been?
Yeah, I would say that I am. I'm
Whoa.
definitely not a Democrat anymore.
All right.
That's
I like it.
I haven't been for a few years.
We like what we're hearing.
I think he's been won over during the course of these drinking podcasts.
Well, if drinking with us can't win you over, what can?
Drugs?
That's why we fight this fight.
Mm-hmm.
The alcohol eases the brainwashing process.
It certainly does. It lubes it up.
That and the lack of sleep. Okay, next question. Do you plan on voting in the 2016 presidential elections?
Is there an undecided option?
Yes, no, unsure.
Unsure.
I'm going no for a very good reason.
Are you a felon?
Let's get JB's answer, and then we'll discuss the reasons.
I would say yes.
I will say yes.
Okay, so let's hear your very good answer.
Well, if I vote, I have to register to vote, and then I'll be on the roll call for jury duty.
That's what I thought this was when it came in the mail, actually.
And my vote is not worth being on a jury for 5 days. So there's your democratic process.
What if you could nullify someone's sentence for having pot in Cleveland, which is probably still illegal in that place? That backwards, I don't know. Cleveland's okay. I'm not trying to get on a city-hating rant here.
We just lost all 3 of our listeners in Cleveland.
And one of them's on this show right now. He just hit unsubscribe to the podcast. He's on while on it. It's never been done in the history.
Well, that actually is a good question. I would like to be on a jury like that, but it's always just a bunch of nonsense. So
yeah. Well, the benefit of going to jury duty though is that you can literally, when they're like, "Hey, is there any reason you shouldn't be?" Just stand up and go, "Jury nullification," and then they'll kick you out. But then everybody else in the room will be like, "What's that?"
You just
and you've educated a bunch of people.
You wear a Nullify Now T-shirt.
There you go.
You're good to go. They're like, "Okay, you're out of here, pal."
And if they're like, "What's that?" You just say, "I'm a scientist. I just want to have neutral ions." And
you do a Woody Allen impression if you decide to get out of jury duty.
He's a scientist of incest.
We don't take old Jewish directors on our juries that may have molested their children. So,
may or may not have. Maybe not. Allegedly.
Now, I would want to be on that jury, the Woody Allen jury. Nullify some molestation laws, huh? Wait, no, just kidding.
Oh, God.
We can edit that out, but don't.
I don't know if we
don't edit the show.
Will gain subscribers or lose subscribers from that.
All right,
comment.
so most of us are I'm unsure, and you guys are yes, and Rico doesn't want to be on jury duty.
All right, question 3. If yes, so I guess Rico can't answer. Do you plan on voting for the Republican nominee or the Democratic nominee?
I'm going to check undecided.
Undecided for Mark. I also will say undecided, but most likely Rand Paul.
Well, why don't they say or third? I guess third party counts as undecided.
I guess, yeah.
That doesn't seem the same.
It doesn't seem. It seems like undecided means which you just don't know which between the two you're actually going to vote for. Well, of course it's skewed. It's from the GOP.
They're all presuming that we're going to vote for one of them.
Yeah,
which is annoying.
I think that's the main problem there.
There's no difference between Rick Santorum and Rand Paul.
I think we should protest this question altogether.
Yeah, God, Rick Santorum. Why is he even running? He's like, who have I not offended? Who can I offend in this new campaign?
Should we start a new podcast called Rick Santorups and Downs?
No.
No? Okay. Hey, there's no bad idea in a brainstorm, folks.
You know, we should do Photoshop a picture of a posterior onto Rick Santorum and call it Rick Santorum.
All right, we should probably move on from the Santorum jokes.
Yeah, most likely. Okay, moving on. So,
there will be many Santorum jokes to come.
Are we all undecided on this? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, except Rico, because he's.
Well, I'll just pretend I'm voting for the remainder of the question.
Okay,
if Rand
sounds
Paul's
good.
on there, I'll vote for him. But I live in Pennsylvania, and I don't think Pennsylvania is much of a battleground state as people like to say. It'll probably go blue.
Yeah, that's true. But you never know.
But I would vote for Rand if he's there.
My father had a Ron Paul sign in his yard, and he lived in Pennsylvania back in the day. One man, one vote.
All right. What's our next little?
All right. Next
question.
This question is kind of irrelevant, but if yes, how do you plan on casting your election ballot? In person, absentee ballot, or by mail?
This question's dumb.
We're just moving on.
Who would vote in person? That's so dumb.
I usually
do this so I can get out of work early.
Yeah, that's a perfect excuse
what?
not to be at work.
I have an odd
Of course, you can also just leave work and still send it in.
I oddly enjoy the process of voting. I don't know why. It's something about the charm of the old ladies that are like so proud of me for voting. They seem very proud.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
You get a sticker.
Yeah,
they smile at you.
I don't care about it, but they seem very happy, and I feel like I'm improving the lives of the elderly volunteers. Or
by the way,
maybe they're paid. I don't know.
Like the security when I did vote.
Security.
I mean, like the verification you are who you say you are.
0.
It's the biggest joke ever. There's probably
I like pointed to my name on a sheet of paper. Like, that's me. Yep.
There's less fraud in like a kindergarten election for president.
We did voting in high school, and that shit was strict, man. There was boxes, and it was locked, and who knows what goes on now. Now you click a thing, and like you put your whole sheet in a box, and it goes off to like, I don't know, Sacramento. Is that where they vote? They add stuff up in California. I don't know.
I don't believe they even count votes. I think they just pretend.
Well, then why are we filling this out? Okay, let's move on.
All right, next question. Do you have any interest in serving as a volunteer to help at your local Republican Party headquarters or to assist a Republican candidate in my area? Tricky.
It is tricky.
I'm going to say no. I did it for Ron Paul, but I'm not going to go stumping around for Rand, to be perfectly honest.
Probably not. In theory, I might support Rand, but that doesn't mean I can't see myself doing what I did for Ron Paul, marching around the neighborhoods trying to convince California progressives to vote for this old Republican, or even in this case, this middle-aged Republican.
It was a different time. We were single then.
It was a different time,
a chance of an attractive young woman opening the door and wanting to really know about Ron Paul. And
hey, honey, I'm going off to campaign for Rand Paul for 5 days. Doesn't really fly nowadays, I don't think.
Rico's single. JB, are you single?
No, I'm not.
Well,
These women are holding back our progress, folks.
well,
We
Rico,
would have a free country next year if it wasn't for our being tied down.
Rico, are you going to go canvassing?
Well, if you saw the vast majority of the women who live in Cleveland, you'd probably...
It'd be funny if Rico didn't register to vote, but he canvassed like 7 days a week for Rand Paul.
I'm envisioning a lot of Cleveland hate mail after today.
Oh, I hope they don't
Like
file
any
out.
of them can write or read. Give me a break. All right, moving on. What age category applies to you? I don't know if I want to kiss and tell.
I don't think we should be revealing our...
26 to 35.
We're all in that range,
That's the
I
range.
believe.
My
Right?
marker I'm filling out this thing with is already running out of ink.
I believe every one of us. I like how you're actually filling it out, too.
I'm actually
and you're going to mail this in.
I'm totally mailing it. Are you kidding me?
Is there a comment section later? That's where we're gonna
I
have
hope
fun.
so. But you know what?
That's where we just attach a link to the podcast. That's the comment section.
These cheap dicks, though, they send it to me first class. They made sure I knew it was sent first class. But there's no like I have to put my own stamp on it. What am I, made of money?
Wait, what doesn't it say in the... Oh, play stamp here. I thought it said, like, prepaid. No. Wow, those cheapos.
Cheapos. They also were asking me for
all the
a
taxpayer
donation.
money these guys get for their freaking convention, you'd think
Right?
they could spring for the stamps.
God, use it from your slush funds.
Well, that's already a no for you.
How am I supposed to be a libertarian when I gotta buy all my stamps from the government? There's your open.
I should just be able to draw my own stamp on there. It's like that guy who had that whole blog about he tried to pay his gas bill with a drawing of a spider. Remember that?
I remember that. You say it like it's this national story.
It's fantastic. It was like the blog's called like 27/B6 or something like that. If you just look up, and I should just do it right now while we're talking, but I'm not in front of the computer. It's like this guy literally. It's like an Australian comedian who I think lives in the States now. But Mark, type it up while I'm talking. The people have to know. But basically, he got a bill, and he's just kind of messing with these people.
What am I typing? Australian comedian?
Look up. Type in 27/B spider drawing.
Here's the quote.
Yeah, there you go.
on
See,
top.
look, spider.
Next time, I'll spend the money on drugs instead. That was the top.
Oh, yeah, that was the
Yeah, there you go. That's the title.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, look it up. Next time, I'd rather spend money on drugs. And it's just he tries to pay his bill with a drawing of a spider, which then he goes back and forth numerous times.
This is pretty funny. I want to read this out loud. This is from 2008. Wow, you got a good memory.
I do.
It says, this is a response to the bill. I won't read the letter about the bill because that's boring. Dear Jane, I do not have any money, so I'm sending you this drawing I did of a spider instead. I value the drawing at $233.95, so trust that this settles the matter. Regards, David. And there's there's like 20 emails. You guys should all look this stuff up.
She complains that it's not good enough, and then he writes back. He's like, you're right. I am missing a leg on the spider, which only had 7 legs. I've now corrected the problem. I hope this now resolves the issue.
Maybe this is what we should do. Instead of talking politics, we should just find funny stuff on the internet and read it. And then that's our podcast.
I hope other people are listening to this podcast and then transcribing it and then pushing it off as their own content in the same way.
I do too. Down with IP.
So go ahead, guys. Yeah, no IP.
Anyway, let's move along.
All right, moving on.
This is too funny.
it's brilliant. All right, pay attention to the podcast.
He's not talking about the podcast, folks. He's talking about the thing he's reading.
Yes, sadly.
Silently to himself.
All right, how close do you think your views are to other voters in my community?
Want me to email it back to you.
What community are we talking about, though? Are we talking about the broader community at large? Are we talking about the community right here, this podcast community? Are we talking about the community I live in?
Either one, I'm going to say no. I don't. If we're talking about the world or this street, I'm pretty sure that the community I'm in does not agree with me.
No,
or I wouldn't have to do a podcast.
I'm sure the state we're
expressing my libertarian views.
Yes,
Jeez.
I'm going to say not very close.
I think we can all say not very close, right? Right, folks?
All right.
At least we got a consensus here on these answers.
Oh, next one. Okay, for what media source do you regularly receive your political news? That is from, I'll say, Social Network and Friends.
Friends,
the TV show, not Friends. I watch reruns. That's why I'm so up to date on all my politics.
Facebook and Twitter are my top 2.
Facebook and Twitter, yeah. I'm gonna,
at least they're smart enough to include those as options now.
Yeah, I'm not putting Fox News. I'll also put news websites. I do occasionally visit some of those.
And lionsofliberty.com.
I'm going to write in Lions of Liberty.
You should. He's doing it, folks. Compelling audio, live filling out. If you're just joining the program.
By the way, Mark, we have to track our hits and see if we do get a visit from the National Republican headquarters scoping us out.
If we put the link in there, I'm sure they're going to check us out.
I did. I wish I was using a finer a finer pen.
All right, let's pump through this puppy. Let's see. I want to get to some of the issues here.
All right, here we go. Do you agree the Republicans need to start now to set the strategies and tactics that will help us win the 2016 race for the White House?
I don't like the phrasing because they're saying us as if I'm one of us.
Well, hey, yes, give it.
I mean, yes,
benefit
it
of
should
the
start
doubt.
now. Why would you wait? No, let's wait till. You guys should wait till like late next year.
Yeah, this is clearly an idiotic question. Moving on. We don't need to go
like,
into that.
I think you guys just go chill out on the beach for a few more weeks.
Here's a good one. This is interesting just because it shows how idiotic the GOP party is. Ready? This question is gonna be a doozy. Number 10. Do you believe the Republican Party should continue to embrace social issues? Or are these too divisive when it comes to winning elections?
Divisive and stop it.
What are they going to say? Hey, we're no longer talking about any social issues. They're irrelevant to the GOP party.
Everything's a social
are you kidding
issue,
me?
really. But if we're talking about what they're talking about, which is like gay marriage and all that stuff, just stop it.
Well, it's like how can they say they're not going to embrace social issues? What does that even mean? I mean, you have to talk about it. You have to have an opinion.
What do you?
JB, Rico, anything?
Well,
I think-
I don't know how Rick Santorum's going to avoid social issues. That seems to be.
Entire campaign.
I mean,
I can't believe he's really running in. For a while, I thought it was just a joke, but he's just
the
legitimately.
people have
is.
asked him to run, and he's granting their wishes.
I'm thrilled because he's going to provide some
The
comedic.
people of Pennsylvania? Because I'm not one of them.
I'm sure that was his press release when he did it, but I can't imagine anyone, even his own family, wanted him to run again. But
The frothy one.
I do think it's
Back
funny
in our
that they
lives
are.
again.
That
We're
the
already
GOP
back to Santorum. It only took us like 7 minutes to turn back
Yeah,
to Santorum.
it comes full circle. But no, I just can't believe they're like, they're even asking this question. It's like, seriously? Is it that painful to you that you have to even debate just saying, forget it?
Yes. it
Okay.
is.
I'm going to say embrace because that's logical. Clearly.
We're on question 11 of 7,000 for the record. So.
Yeah, that's right. All right, number 11.
Hope you guys got no plans today if you're listening to this show.
Register your opinion on the following social issues. Number 1, support, oppose, 3, no opinion.
God.
That's what we do. Number 1, school prayer. Oppose.
I mean, God, this is so dumb. I don't care.
This is hilarious.
I don't care if people do any of these things if we're not stealing money to do it.
But should schools be forced to have school prayer?
I don't think that's what school prayer is.
Well, they're not forcing it. A lot of schools do, but it's a religious school.
I mean,
activity, so
I'm
you sign
against
up
like
for it, I
saying the
guess.
pledge, but they don't necessarily force people to say the pledge.
They inserted
just,
that line about God in the pledge in like 1960 something, right, or 1950.
You might want to
Yeah,
do some
it was
research
50s.
on that.
No,
Was
it's
it
true.
50? No,
It's true.
I knew that that came later, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm personally going to oppose it because I think if it's a place of if it's government run, I don't think you should be pushing
I
religion.
oppose praying altogether. Like, I don't know. If you got a problem, solve it.
If you ever think you've had an STD, Mark, you will pray.
Well,
Brand of vanilla ice.
That's one.
All right, number 2, ban burning of the flag. Support, oppose, no opinion.
Oppose. Burn it if you want.
JB, Rico,
If you
yeah.
bought it, it's yours.
burn, baby,
Property to
burn.
do with
Agree.
Yeah, whose flag? As long as
Yeah.
it's your flag.
As long as it's your property.
Not any
you can
old
do whatever you
flag.
want with it.
I feel like they phrased this oddly. Oh, Mark, again. Mark has knocked over shit on the table, just like the champagne. It's all happening again.
Yep, I just spilled.
Oh, the precious
Live
Blenheim.
on
It's like
air.
treasure.
It's all right, keep going.
All right, hold on. Let's pause it.
no,
Dalbert,
keep
pause.
going. We're good.
We
We're
need
good.
paper towels.
All
Hold
right.
on.
This seems like a good time for a quick ad
Break.
How
Here you
about
go.
that?
The paper towels are still in here from the last time. Here you go. Here's the roll of paper towels, Mark.
Save all this. This is gold.
All right, here you go. Wipe down the computer so we don't lose the
All
recording.
right, guys. We're gonna take a quick break while I clean up. We'll be back. We'll find some ads to play for you, and we'll be back in like 2 seconds or however long the ad break is. I need to take a minute out to give a little love to our sponsors over at Health Excellence Select. Believe me, guys, I know nobody likes dealing with health insurance companies. It's bad enough that you're sick, but now, thanks to the ACA, you're forced to pay for all sorts of coverage you don't even want or need, and the odds are you are indeed paying for it. I was frustrated too until I did some research and found out about health sharing, where like-minded, health-conscious individuals get together to cover each other's medical costs. And now the fine folks at Health Excellence Select have taken it to another level with a complete healthcare service, combining health sharing with personal care assistance to help you find the doctors that you need at the best price, 24/7 phone access to physicians, along with discounts on dental and vision. And if that wasn't enough, they even have a website that works, if you can believe that. Guys, if you are struggling with a solution to your healthcare needs, look no further than Health Excellence Select. For more information, head on over to lionsofliberty.com/health.
Chris Rossini's new book, Set Money Free.
Set money free.
What every American needs to know about the Federal Reserve.
Set money free.
With a special foreword by Ron Paul.
Set money free.
It has easy-to-understand questions and answers.
Set money free.
Buy Set Money Free on Amazon.com.
Set money free.
Chris Rossini's Set Money Free.
Set money free.
Blenheim, please. Gently.
Oh, all right.
All right.
All right, guys, and we are back after, we had a little blunder. It's the nature of this show. It's libertarians in living rooms drinking liquor, where myself and some of my Liberty cohorts get together over a few adult beverages and discuss whatever comes up. Hopefully some political stuff, but not always, usually. And today, we are going through a little exercise here, filling out
the 2015
questionnaire. All right, Brian's going to take over. Tell them.
District Census for
right.
the GOP party.
We're going to fill out a census for the GOP. We're like 10 questions in, and we're going to continue now that we've cleaned up the mess and we've got full drinks and everything's okay again.
All right, here we go. We're doing a question. It's basically support your opinion. Do you support, do you oppose, or no opinion on the following social issues which the GOP is debating, no longer embracing any of? Here we go.
Well, we did school prayer. So
to recap, school prayer, I put down oppose, but if it's obviously a Catholic school, do what you want. Ban burning of the flag. We all oppose that. You buy a flag, you burn the shit out of it. Number
You
3.
don't have to burn it.
That's what you do.
No, it doesn't.
You
If
could
you
always,
outside a
like,
contract
hang
that says you
it
have
from
to.
your flagpole.
Yeah, you can do that too. That's
or,
what I
or you
do.
know, if a flagpole, just put on your car. Number 3, ban human cloning.
What? How do they go from flag burning to
An
human
interesting
cloning?
issue.
Yeah,
It's all the same wheelhouse, pretty much. Creating new humans out of cells, or
Clearly, I am a fan of Gattaca personally, so let's
I mean,
clone
as
it
much
up.
as the sci-fi stuff, I mean, I don't see anything specifically wrong with human cloning.
Well, the thing is, they're saying human cloning, but I don't see anything specific about like stem cells. I think they're talking about stem cells.
I don't
Well,
think
let's
so. I
just
think they're
talk
talking about
about
human
I
cloning.
think they're talking about
Apparently,
Yeah.
Rick Santorum will run again in 3042. if I vote that they oppose banning.
It all depends on who they're cloning. That's my
apparently
view.
this technology is a lot closer to being realized than I ever thought.
It's pretty close. They're cloning noses and ears on mice. They've cloned animals. It's around the corner.
Let
man.
science roar, I say.
I
like a
agree.
lion.
I say I oppose banning human cloning.
Ooh, this one's gonna be.
Ban all abortions.
I doubt any of us will. Well, we'll see.
Well, I am for, I say right to choose. I do think that at some point there needs to be a cutoff because at some point it becomes a person, not just a bundle of cells. But I obviously am not for banning all abortions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult issue. I'm not a fan by any means of abortion, but rights aren't about what you're a fan of, and it is a tricky issue because where does the right of the fetus become a life that we equal a human? It's not black and white. I'm not sure if it ever will be. I think it's a gray area that humans may never and will never probably agree on. But to say ban all abortions is not a gray area, so I will say oppose.
I agree.
I agree.
For
All
all
right.
those
Bam.
reasons.
All
Great.
right.
Can't wait till all the hate mail calling us, baby killers.
Oh, yes. Number 3, faith-based initiatives. Ooh.
What?
Faith-based initiatives. I don't know what that's such a generic
Yeah,
phrase.
that's
That can mean
very
almost
vague.
anything. Yeah, I mean, I guess when it comes to
What they really
the
mean
government,
is government.
I don't think they should. Yeah,
that's what they
so
mean.
I'm opposed
no.
to it.
Yes.
Nope, no to that.
hate that.
Fight against same-sex marriage.
I am opposed to fighting
opposed
it.
to that. Everybody agreed?
Yeah. What? How do they think they're going to win an election if they're going to do that?
The fact that these are even questions is troublesome.
I know. That's the thing that's most telling
They're
here.
wondering if these are things they should say out loud.
It's so antiquated. It's like, is this 1962 that I'm getting these? I could have gotten the exact same questionnaire. Maybe not with the cloning.
All right, the next two are...
Ban federal funds for birth control.
I mean,
I
want to ban
support
federal funds
that.
for.
Yeah.
I want to ban federal funds for just about everything. So
Yeah.
sure.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I would
Wasn't
agree.
that a thing where people were mad about the health care
Yes.
because they
Hobby Lobby.
weren't getting? Yeah.
Hobby
yeah,
Lobby.
that whole
I mean,
Supreme Court case.
I'm not against people getting
Maybe,
health
maybe.
care. And then when you say you're against it, people are like, you want abortions and you want everyone to get pregnant and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. I didn't
like,
say,
well, you could
I
go
didn't say
buy-
don't let people get it. I
Right.
said,
You could go buy your own
don't-
birth care. Like, well, what if people can't afford it? Then don't have sex. How about that?
And look,
it's not my problem.
Almost anyone can afford birth control. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
And Planned Parenthood gives it out for free.
Away for next to nothing, maybe even
Right.
free.
Next to nothing.
You know, you can get it if you need it.
Don't say free, because I got in trouble with my sister and my brother-in-law, who's on the board of Planned Parenthood, and they
Lordy.
went up and down saying how they don't give it away for free, but they do give it for like $12. So splitting hairs.
Just,
next to nothing.
Go to a college dorm room. Remember the condom giveaway parties they had?
Right, exactly.
What?
Go to the Olympic
Remember
Village.
what?
There's
Where was
buckets.
I?
Oh, they're
You guys went
constantly
to
giving away.
condom giveaway parties?
Yeah, they had them all the time. It was great. Just
Yep.
give you like 50
Oh,
condoms.
man.
Like, there you go. Like, all right. Cool.
What? I wasn't cool enough.
They
to
do
get
them at
invited to
like
this.
middle schools and elementary schools now. It's a big deal, though. People are getting up in arms
All right,
about
I
it.
have to seize this from you for a second and take a look. All right, so that was just the profile section of us. So now it's general issues, and we're not going to talk about everything because
No.
they list like 57 things and want you to check off some shit. So we're just going to kind of run through what they're asking. All right.
Yep.
So the first thing they say. Do you think things in our country are continuing to go in the wrong direction, or do you feel things are going in the right direction?
I hate that kind of question. It's such a
Yeah.
fucking
Isn't that the worst
abstract
question?
piece of shit question.
What a piece of shit question.
You know,
I
that's what they
agree.
want, though. That's what they want, though, from this. They want to have this questionnaire where people will say, wrong direction. Then the candidates will go, it's
Most
going in the
people-
wrong direction.
Has
Right.
Most
ever
people
said-
agree. And everybody will go, yeah, it is.
What if everybody answered unsure, and then everyone and the candidates are like, people in America are unsure of where this country is going?
That'll happen. You'll see these talking points come out.
All right, I say we don't. Any objections to just saying that this question is illegitimate?
Yeah, that's not
Draw a middle
legitimate.
finger to
Answer
that
here.
question.
Just can we write comments like this question?
They'll throw it out if I do that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, how about this? Please indicate the
Wouldn't
top...
want this gold to be thrown
Oh,
out.
this is interesting. Please indicate the top 3 issues that you believe are most important to people in your area. There's a lot of them,
How are
so
you
we don't
defining
need
these
to
things?
discuss each
Community
one.
area. I mean,
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. What is my geographic area? All right, economy, jobs, clearly. Government expansion, very important to me. People in my area probably love it. California being the area. Taxes, Social Security, environment, Medicare, Medicaid, race relations, energy, healthcare, federal spending, state spending, education, immigration, cutting federal deficit, foreign policy, protecting your traditional values. Who gives a shit about that, by the way? Gun control, strong military, homeland security. They snuck that random one, and then there's other, which of course I'll write in, maybe cattle fraud, like convincing people that they're buying the wrong cattle.
cattle fraud is a major issue of our time.
Illegal importation of
You know
rebus
what,
monkeys.
Holstein?
If there was rampant cattle fraud, I would
Sweet
put
Holstein
it,
reference.
I would put it ahead of every one of these issues, just about. I
Goddamn
think.
right. All right, so that's that. That's gives you another example of questions. We don't need to go into
I
those.
mean, how do you even answer shit like this?
Yeah.
You know,
All right, how about this one?
our real problem is so much deeper than like these nichey little like cutting federal deficit. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Anything?
No, I think.
I'm just
God,
do we really want to rank 3 of these?
No, there's too many of them. This one pisses me off, though. This is actually, we're talking about the political parties. So this is the way they couch this next question.
And we're not going to read all the categories
No.
again. We
Which
made that
political
mistake
party
once.
do you feel is best able to handle each of the following issues? And it's the ones you think it was, but which political party they have Republican, Democrat, or no opinion? So clearly, if
Yeah.
they think it's anything other than the top 2, jam a stick somewhere.
What arrogant a-holes. Yeah, I just censored myself saying a-holes. Seriously, this is just like getting
It's
dumb.
awful. All right, let's move on. I think we've gone to enough, but there's some sections on domestic
Let's
issues.
get into some of the meat here. Is there meat? Is there even meat in this thing? There's
Yeah,
All right.
there's some meat. There's some meat. Do you favor efforts by Republicans to cut the present corporate tax rate, one of the highest in the world, in order to bring more businesses back to the U.S.? That would be a clear yes for me. So they're on point there.
Bernie Sanders thinks we need to triple it.
That brilliant economist. Right?
God, I love the petition that wants him to read any book on the economy, or on economics.
Any book? Like,
It's just like literally any book, read any book.
Even like Karl Marx, like that's fine. Just at least you'll have some idea.
Here's one. The Obama White House and Democrats in Congress are aggressively pushing for a higher federal minimum wage. Do you feel that forcing employers to pay higher wages will help or hurt the economy? I just wrote an article about that. We can talk about that, actually, just real
Let's
quick.
do it. Why do you feel it will? Oh, Rico's got something to say.
Go ahead, Rico.
When they say the federal minimum wage, who does that really affect? How many federal, I'm sure there are, but how many federal workers make below,
No, federal
8,000?
minimum wage doesn't necessarily mean for the workers.
I think they're meaning universal,
No,
universal
they're
base.
talking about federal workers. They can't impose on what California could pay to state workers. They don't have the authority to do that. They're literally
the
talking
authority.
about
That's what they
federal
do. I always thought like the federal minimum wage is American worker can be paid no less than this. That's how I've always envisioned it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, it is. That's
Yeah.
what it is. I'm looking it up. That's exactly what it is.
So yeah, it's the federal government. They think they can do whatever they want, and most of the time they do. So this is
Well, that's
what.
bullshit then.
Rico, how naive. They don't have the authority to do that. They would never.
All right. Well, Mark looks that up. Let me go through it because there's some pretty interesting ones in here.
I'll believe it when I hear it.
How about this one? Should Republicans in Congress stand firm against actions by the Obama White House to bypass congressional votes and enact new regulations, fees, and other freedom-destroying measures via unilateral executive orders?
Sure.
Obviously.
Yes.
Obviously they should. So, that's a pretty good one. That's a good issue, a good talking point.
Yeah, but they don't, I mean, they mean it because it's Obama. They don't mean it because it's wrong.
Right. Well, this one's... Okay, how about this one?
If it's President Marco Rubio, that question will not be on the 2020 survey. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Well, here's what JB and I have gone head-to-head on before. Do you believe more federal laws that impede individuals' Second Amendment rights are the proper response to recent gun violence in our nation? That's something we had gotten into a little bit before.
I'm recalling this conversation.
Yep.
Sparred a bit on that.
Yeah, we did. I think you came around a little bit to my point of view, though, or our collective point of view on that one, saying that
my main point of contention is the people in areas that never historically had large amounts of gun violence, like basically prancing around talking about how their access to guns. Yes, it's prancing. It's a promenade with their guns about how awesome they are because they have guns and how it keeps crime down. Seeing that they never really had that much of a problem with crime to begin with. And it's that mindset that I was fighting against. Not so much that people should be allowed their Second Amendment rights. I don't like people making that argument. That was the thing I had.
It's not the argument you need to make, and it's a dumb argument. I agree, and it detracts from the real reasons that people should be allowed to own guns, and that's because it's an individual right to own a property and to not have those rights violated if you have not harmed anyone else. So.
Exactly, and that's how I closed. That was my closing statement on that show. Is that it's just a natural.
So why are you bringing up old wounds, Brian? We're all good now. We're all good.
How much crime in your area?
We are now prancing around together.
I'm just saying things, just throwing things out there.
It's all good.
All right, they talk about immigration and blah, blah, blah. This is what it's kind of interesting. Do you support Republican efforts to defer fully implementing Obamacare and replacing it with something that will address the high cost of health care while maintaining the quality of care?
These questions are so, on the surface. It's like, well, yeah, of course I would like those things you say, cheaper health care and quality of care, but what scheme are they coming up with to do that? I mean,
right. Well, they're going to replace Obamacare with another Obamacare-like substance from the Republican Party. Yeah,
I don't know why I'm obsessed with Rubio today.
Romney care,
only Republican I can think of.
Rick Santorum.
Because it's the Santorum care. Santo care. Ooh.
Every doctor has to be a priest under.
Why does it always come back? Why does it always come? And you don't need to go to medical school either.
Right, of course not.
Actually, they're disqualified if they do.
You only can make decisions by praying first.
Medical school is now replaced by the priesthood.
You know what I'm going to do, just so you can follow along, Mark? I'm gonna scan this and we can post it along with the podcast. People can play along at home.
Oh, there you go. Nice idea.
Because it is interesting. I don't want to belabor it. We're going on and on with it, but there are some interesting questions. Let's run through a couple more and then we can move on to a new topic. But
thank you.
Should America take military action if necessary to keep Iran and North Korea from obtaining nuclear weapons? Is one. Should we fund a missile defense shield?
You're so anxious to get through this stuff.
I thought we were working. All right, go for it.
Let's slow down. I mean, because there's interesting. I actually think the nuclear weapon issue is actually an interesting line of debate. So let's have it.
Well, no, they should not. Because how do they or we have the authority to determine who has a nuclear weapon or not? That's ridiculous. Plus, if they're worried about it, let Israel take care of it, at least as far as Iran. So there you go.
Right, exactly. They're getting so much money from us. They get so much weapons, ample amount of money. They're by far the biggest military, most capable military in the region, despite their small size. All their population is trained to kill. Legally, they have to all go to the army. So it's like, I just don't understand either why they can't just handle it on their own. Give me a break.
JB, do you have any thoughts on this issue?
I still can't come to the understanding how we became the grand arbitrator of who can have what things on the face of the earth. When did we get this right or this obligation, as some people might think that it is?
I think it came with the Enola Gay.
Yeah, we got it when we dropped the nuclear weapon on Japan.
Yeah, once we proved that we had the huevos to do it, for good or bad, also debatable. But yeah, that was, I think, when everyone went, oh shit, okay.
All right, I'm going to play, not devil, I'm going to play, like, I don't know, who's a neo? Santorum's advocate for 1 second. I'm going to play Santorum's I just started a Twitter account called Santorum's Advocate. Ooh, how hard is it to start a new Twitter account? Pretty easy. Can I do it live on air? I'm going to start it right now. Anyway, while I say my thing. So anyway, Santorum's Advocate. Why did I say that in the first place? Oh, yeah. Because... Well, I agree with all of you, first of all, in reality, because the U.S. government has more nukes than any country in the world. So where does the U.S. government get off telling a country to not develop a weapon? And many of those, if there's zero evidence Iran is doing that, first of all, none. It's all made up, literally. So, where do they get off using physical force to prevent a country from creating one when, in all odds, they're probably creating one only to use as political pressure against an American attack anyway, which is the only reason I think these guys even have, any sort of nuclear programs if they do. So that being said, if we take all of the current present situation aside, you could argue that out of all things on Earth, guns, any weapon you might use, they're objects, and they are, objects that are just objects that, you can't just ban people from having those objects because, you can use a gun to shoot somebody, you can use a car to run someone over, yada, yada, yada. However, a nuclear weapon is a little bit different, at least. I think we have to look at it slightly more differently because nuclear weapons can never not hurt innocent people. It's impossible to use a nucler weapon without hurting innocent people. Like, fact, right? Do you guys agree on that?
Yes.
At least?
Yeah.
Well, if everybody becomes super
because of the breadth of it. I mean, there's no way to target. Maybe they have like laser ones now. I mean, I don't know. I'm not talking about new technology. I'm talking about the shit goes off over here.
Right, it's the same as firebombing, essentially.
Yeah.
It's gonna catch people in the net.
In a different world, one where I'm not saying our government would have the right to prevent that from anyone, but kind of I'm just looking at a rights perspective, you could argue that someone owning or creating a nuclear weapon is in itself a violation of rights because they're now possessing something that can only harm innocent people. Like, there's not a single way that they can use that thing without hurting, without violating people's rights. See where I'm coming from that? Does that make any sense? I'm not saying... It
makes sense, but at the same time, you can't say they can't have it because it only hurts other people, because at the same level, a gun is very similar in that regard.
No, it's not similar in that regard.
Because a gun is also... It's designed to hurt other people. Now, it doesn't necessarily do it, but neither does a nuclear weapon if it's never detonated.
That's the difference. A nuclear weapon, 100% certainty, will hurt innocent people when it's used.
But a nuclear weapon can also be a deterrent.
That's the point I was getting around to.
That, yeah.
Yeah. Just like a gun is a deterrent.
Let's picture Mad Max. Nobody has nuclear weapons. We're starting from scratch. I'm saying at that kind of point, when it's just individuals and property, and then you find out one person is building an object that can do this, you could argue there would be a reason for people to take up force against the person.
Yeah, if this in that theoretical world,
shit out there. Well, if someone sets off, we're going to be back in that world.
Yes, in fancy land with the candy people.
In Santorum's world.
Mark, also in this theoretical world, the people trying to stop them don't have nuclear weapons themselves. The United States is a grand hypocrite in this story here, because we have the most nuclear weapons of anyone in the world, and we're telling other people that they can't have them.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, and look, in a
Santorum's advocate, man.
In a different world when nobody had the nuclear weapons, then I'd say, holy God, these guys are going to build this nuclear weapon. Let's go and stop them. Agreed. But yeah, and you can't do it in the current day and age when people have them.
All right, so we're not going to do this survey anymore, right?
No, I do have one more thing. One more thing, though.
One more. You get one more.
Because this is interesting. I wonder if Marco Rubio put this on himself.
I have the perfect picture for my Twitter account.
Do you believe that President Obama went too far in moving to reestablish diplomatic relations with communist Cuba without demanding concessions that would give the Cuban people more freedoms?
Are they going to actually talk about this during a presidential debate?
It seems like
they're obviously considering it.
Shit.
And here is the only... they might actually, on some technical grounds, have a point. If he is doing... the way he did it may technically be unconstitutional, but shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. And I'm not going to oppose Obama on that because he didn't go, beg Congress to repeal, Cuban sanctions. I think those were established through executive orders, too. So I made that up, too.
I was going to say, was the ban on Cuba constitutional in the first place?
Yeah,
I
it was
don't know. I'm
during
just
the Cold
asking.
War. Yeah, no, I think I think you might be right, JB and Mark. I think it probably was established under the auspices of we're in a state of Cold War, quote unquote. So now this is we're another act of war undertaken by a president without the authorization of Congress. I highly doubt that it went through Congress. Let's look it up. Check in on Mark? You're on a computer.
Do I have to do all the research around here?
Yeah, you have the computer.
Okay, whatever.
All right, so you look into that. We can move on to other things.
I was trying to create my Rick Santorum advocate. We have to. I'm going to say that we are now on the clock for. We'll have one more issue, then we'll do our final thoughts.
Well, all right. I'll bring something up. Since JB, I believe, is a soccer fan, and McWilliams pretends to be a soccer fan.
I'm a huge soccer fan. Everton, baby.
I want to
Come on,
talk
you
about
Blues.
this, Rico. I'm
So
glad you bring
this
this up.
indictment against FIFA is. I mean, I assume that's what JB was referring to right now. What you want to talk about? Why is the U.S. government indicting anyone in regards to this scandal?
I was wondering that on the way over here, actually.
I was searching for, whatever, like what kind of basis they were having, because it appears to be foreign citizens being indicted for possible criminal activities that occurred involving other countries, and they weren't in the United States except for maybe they were having dinner in New York City one time. So what are they wasting our time and money pursuing these charges for?
Well, I can tell you why the U.S. feels they have jurisdiction to do this. I can't tell you why they feel like they need to do it at all. Like, with the jurisdiction, you're right. They do have evidence that they're like colluding or conspiring on U.S. soil. Not only that, they're transferring bribes and like illegal funds through U.S. banks and using U.S. currency as well. So the U.S. Justice Department feels because of this, they have the jurisdiction to prosecute anyone who's involved in this type of corruption scandal.
And why do they feel the need to do this?
And there are Americans involved as well. There are American citizens involved as well.
So maybe they can have an outcome as good as like the Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens trial in 5 years and $15 million. Someone needs to overlook this Justice Department and say, you guys are just out of control, and stick to things that actually matter.
I agree there. It's like, why? Yeah, what is exactly this? The impact of this on the average American. What's the average impact on me, on you, on your cousin? Why is Loretta Lynch wasting your time? You're brand spanking new in this position as in your role as I'm blanking on the name of it now.
Attorney General.
I kept thinking district attorney. I couldn't get it out of my head. As Attorney General, and this is what you're spending your time on, going after what? It was 7 Americans and 8 other guys for a FIFA scandal. That's that honestly everyday Americans could give 2 shits about.
And they're going to have to extradite a lot of these people, which is going to cost probably a fortune.
From Switzerland too.
These people are rich as hell, so of course they're going to put up a good fight. Just with the extradition. Then they're going to get here. It's going to probably take 4 years to get to trial, if that ever happens. Mm-hmm. And because the World Cup is going to be played in Qatar in 8 years or something.
And Russia.
Did you see Putin was kind of outraged about it? I thought that was kind of funny how he was talking about U.S. is just trying to extend their jurisdiction into other countries, which seems to be right on that point.
But. Sometimes Putin hits on the right things. Yeah,
he's still a cartoon character to me in every stretch of the way. Like, I can't take anything he says seriously anymore.
No, I don't.
The thing that confused me the most about the whole FIFA scandal is not so much why the U.S. is involved and is spending U.S. dollars to prosecute them, is why FIFA exists in the first place. I'm a huge soccer fan. I've been since I was a kid. And ever since I knew what corruption and scandal was, I knew FIFA did it in like spades. All they do is bribe and collude and just try to line their pockets with as much money as they possibly can from the most popular sport in the world. And you would think, and this is a governing body, you can kind of think of it as a way of a government. But this is a freely a sociable government in the sense that you join FIFA, you can leave FIFA whenever you want. Unlike, as we've seen from the Civil War, like the United States of America. But no one ever does. When England called out FIFA basically for corruption, for giving Russia and Qatar the bids for the World Cups, they could have left FIFA if they wanted, but they didn't, because that would mean they couldn't be in the World Cup, they couldn't be in the UEFA Champions League, they couldn't be in the European Championships, And that would really require almost every single major soccer power in the world basically saying, I'm fed up with this, and forming their own organization and their own tournaments. But no one ever goes around to doing that, even though pretty much everyone who's not one of those executives of FIFA is pretty sick of what they're doing. So it led me to think about this in libertarian terms. If we have essentially a government that people can freely go in and out of with very minor repercussions, what does that say for if we were to switch to a libertarian system where people can do this without the threat of coercion? Because all FIFA's saying is if you're not part of FIFA, you can't be part of FIFA tournaments. That's not really coercion. It just kind of makes sense. But no one ever has the balls to leave and try to get them to leave to do something about it. Even though everyone and their mom knows that they're corrupt to every stretch of the imagination, no one ever leaves.
FIFA is a private organization, right? They don't
exactly
necessarily, but I'm sure they get all sorts of crony capitalist, tax incentives, stadiums, the same kind of stuff we see with MLB, NHL, NFL. They're all private, quote unquote, too. But they're not just this really private entity just floating around.
Well, look at it this way: FIFA has the ability and the power to cost governments upwards of, I believe, Qatar's cost is going to be something around $220 billion. So you think about that. Qatar's, they've got their own thing. I think, that's not all coming from taxpayers. But, in the United States, for instance, or a country like Brazil, they spent, something like $20 billion for stadiums. The power of this private organization to cost billions upon billions of dollars to companies that do have tax, or to countries that have taxpayers, is unprecedented. And other than the Olympics, I can't think of any other association that have some power like that.
But just like the Olympics, but the thing is, they do it willingly. There is no coercion there. If you don't want to host a World Cup, you don't have to.
Exactly.
It's willingly. They willingly shell all these millions and millions of dollars.
And if you're a citizen in those countries and you have a problem hosting the World Cup, then there's certainly a way to express that. Didn't Boston do that?
Probably not in Qatar or Russia.
But I think Boston was, or they may still be up to host the Olympics, and their citizens are, everyone who lives in Boston is pissed about it. They don't want to host the Olympics there. It'd be a nightmare. So they're rising up. And if your official does say, hey, we want to do this, that, or that, take to the democratic means and get them out of office. Yeah,
well, they've shown that the investment doesn't ever come back. They invest billions and billions of dollars, and none of that. They're like, oh, we built these stadiums; they're going to get used. And no, they don't. They go to waste. Often, especially the Winter Olympic stadiums they build for the Olympics. Most of the time, they just crumble. They fall apart. Here and everywhere else, it's just lost money, and it never revitalizes the community or brings money into actual pockets of people.
Yeah, they call them white elephants. That's what these international gaming things leave people. White elephants.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Am I just slow?
No, it's like it's like a soccer. It happens from the World Cup. It's like a Thai thing. Like if the king of Thailand really hated you, he would gift you a white elephant, which it was like an elephant is a high upkeep, but a white elephant was sacred to them, so you can't make them do work. So all you have to do is pump a bunch of money taking care of an elephant that you can't get any work out of, like moving logs or whatever they do with elephants.
How do you know
So this? it was kind of like a punishment from being a soccer fan for 25
That's
years.
Amazing. I've held white elephant parties at Christmas.
People call it. They call it a white elephant. It's a gift that ends up costing you a bunch of money.
It makes perfect sense now.
Bunch of money. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, JB. The more you know.
We've now all learned what the white elephant phrase means. I never knew that.
Wow.
Damn.
I'm usually too drunk by the time of the gift exchange to really notice anything. That's just me.
Well, folks, sorry I had to finish swallowing my drink there. Well, we had a good time. I don't know. I had a good time. I'm drinking, so I'm having a good time, always. Filled out some Republican questionnaires. Talked about soccer. What more do you want from a Libertarian podcast? But let's go around and get our quick final thoughts. But first, I have a couple quick announcements, okay? Number one, I now host a Twitter account called Santorum's Advocate. That was too many letters. That was too many letters to fit on the Twitter handle. So if you look me up, you can find me. I am at Advocate4 Santo. So Advocate for Santo is our Twitter account. So if you would like to follow a Rick Santorum parody account, or maybe it'll be a serious account, I don't know. Haven't really thought it through yet. But it's an account, and it's run by us, or me, so...
Well, and of course, you can also follow at Lions of Liberty.
Oh, you can follow our actual social media, too. Yeah, while we're at it, you can follow us at Lions of Liberty on Facebook, facebook.com/Lions of Liberty. Find us at the Liberty Forum, the Lions of Liberty Forum, our group on Facebook where we discuss all this stuff. Thank you for helping me get the plugs in there.
And of course, lionsofliberty.com. We're seeing thousands upon thousands of listens, but
Billions,
I want more people visiting the website.
Yeah, come to our website. We have a website, too, and we talk about stuff there. We don't drink on the website because that doesn't make any sense.
They don't know if I'm drinking while I'm writing.
Actually, we probably are doing some weird stuff.
Great writers do.
It's true. They call me the Hemingway of Liberty.
All right, so that's one announcement. The other one is not nearly as exciting at all. It looks like there was a series of 6 bills that were passed that make up the Cuban embargo and sanctions. So it does seem to have originated from Congress.
Oh, well,
But
we all struck out.
Various presidents have intervened. Bill Clinton expanded the embargo, actually, by disallowing foreign subsidiaries of U.S. companies to trade with Cuba. So, shit. I mean, Obama's got a big step on old Willie there when it comes to the Cuba issue. So let's just go around the room. How'd you enjoy your day there, Lubin? JP Lubin? I don't know why I'm calling you by your full name right now. How'd you enjoy filling out a Republican questionnaire? Was that your first time?
It was a very eye-opening experience, I'd have to say. Nothing he read out on there am I actually really too surprised that they put, but I am a little bit, that they would just be that transparent and ridiculous.
Out of step with
out of touch.
Yeah.
Human beings. And Mr. Rico, what's your legal analysis of the things we discussed here today?
I have no legal analysis, but I would like to make a suggestion to people out there. First of all, the city of Cleveland for towing my car, costing me $450 for parking meter 20 minutes before rush hour was apparently over, and rush hour in downtown Cleveland is probably as busy as New York City in 1700. But anyways, my suggestion, and I wish I thought of it, was to pay by check and then stop payment on the check. I wish I thought of that before I pay with my credit card.
Oh.
Was it you, Rico, that was telling me that they would send a check in and put tiny, you write it for $3, and it works a lot of the time.
It works sometimes, but
you write $30 instead of $300, and you put little zeros, and they just cash it, and they say paid.
Yeah, I did give that tip, so I also recommend that. But anytime your car gets towed, I recommend paying by check. Stop payment on the check, and then throw a bag of dog shit at every car of people that work there.
Is that a libertarian solution?
It is. I Googled it, and
Is this liberty?
But Rico, don't blame the player, blame the game. I mean, hey, it's the government that's making the laws and saying that these putting these arbitrary signs up. So don't hate your toe man.
Oh no!
Don't hate your toe man.
No, that's where I'm gonna stop you, pal. Hate your toe man. Guess what? These tow truck companies, especially out here, I'm gonna call these guys out on the air right now. Bruffy's Tow, Marina Del Rey. These guys are effing cronies. These guys are the biggest cronies in freaking town. They have all these deals with the police officers. The cops go give them a ticket. They don't even when they're not legitimate tickets. My girlfriend's gotten illegitimate tickets for parking at outside her work in a place she's allowed to park with no parking restrictions. It doesn't freaking matter because once you're at the tow place, you got to pay the tow place.
That's true.
They have all these deals, and you can never get that money back ever. You can petition, and you're never going to get a freaking dime back. It's bullshit. The whole thing is a total crony capitalist thing for the most part. I'm sure there are some nice tow people out there.
Yeah,
so blame the tow man. Yeah. Great.
Well, it's still initiated by the government, though. The tow man is powerless without the power of the government to say, yes, you can tow these people's car, which is their private property.
Yeah.
God, it's making me mad all over again.
All right. Brian, now that you're done defending crony tow truckers, why don't you give us your final thoughts?
All right. Please support my crony tow trucking company, Brian's Tow. It's available on... No, okay. That joke fell flat. Doesn't matter. Daubert, edit it out.
Sorry.
Final thoughts?
Nope, not this week, pal.
I also was shocked at how out of touch that GOP survey was. I couldn't believe it. That, just some of the things like social issues, we rattled that a little bit earlier, but come on. I mean, it's 2015. You can't avoid these things. To say, in a census, should we care about embracing social issues? Or how tone deaf can you be? Are you kidding me? Of course you have to. Social issues are part of everything. They're part of what ties us today as a culture. You have to embrace them and figure out a way to talk about them. And you can't be stalwart and just idiotic about this stuff for the rest of eternity. Shocking. Awful.
Can they? Is that a challenge?
I'm throwing the gauntlet down. Yes, that's my challenge.
As we've discussed on our show before, even on Rand pluses and minuses, which you can find at lionsofliberty.com/Rand, along with all our podcasts at lionsofliberty.com/podcast. Yeah, plugs. But even Randy Pence has had to dip his toe or in the sort of how you say the social issue water by some offhand comments about gay marriage. Even though he isn't against it necessarily and wants contracts to be by marriage, he does make those comments. So that's annoying. So, but even the guy who's least about that stuff, you could argue, is my point, has to basically feel the need to at least like dip his toe in that water. So. Seems like there's, but you know what? If their constituency didn't believe in this stuff, the hardcore people that go to the primaries, they wouldn't be talking about this issues. These guys just want to get elected. So, I mean, it starts with the people that think this stuff matters, or that it can matter to them, but the fact that people feel the need to use the force of government to enact their esoteric bullshit thoughts about life on other people. Now I'm getting fired up, man. See, we were chilling there. We were having a nice talk about soccer. Everything was cozy.
Is that your final thought, or do you have another final thought you want to add?
That's my final thought.
I'm going to Lego that up.
My final thought is to rant about everyone's final thought. And my other final thought is to follow Santorum's Advocate on Twitter.
I can't wait for this.
I have no idea what I'm going to do with this Twitter account yet, but I'm going to have fun with it. I know that. So come check us out. Hey, guys, why don't you join me to wrap the show up? What do you guys think?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, guys. Till next time, which will be next Thursday, this coming Thursday, don't forget, my friends, to live long
and live free.
Advocate. Bum, bum. Advocate. Bum, bum. Advocate. Bum, bum.
Editing and mastering, John Dawson.
What an organic break.
It was good. I was like, good. I don't even take ad breaks.
Should do it every show.
I just sold an ad break live.
God. Did the ice cube fall out?
A lot of bad things.
Oh, it's on the floor.
A lot of bad things.
We have no other ice cube.
It's going to be a minute, folks.
It's going to have to wash it off.
Who spills more stuff in that apartment, Mark or the dogs?
Oh, it's not even close. The dogs don't spill shit.
It's everywhere. It's all over the floor, too.
It's really bad, yeah. Actually, get an actual towel from my room. I'll reconvene in 5 minutes. Not going to hang up.
These emails from this spider guy are the funniest fucking thing I've ever read in my life.
Yeah, after seeing it, I feel like I've saw this before a long time ago. It's all coming back to me now.
This woman keeps responding.
Yes, it is the same drawing.